Happy Thursdays, guys. Taylor here at Boozer Farms. I'm going to take a minute and show you what we've been working on now that it's winter and dormant season. We are pruning our blackberries. This is a thornless variety called Natchez. Natchez is a semi-erect variety. So what we use is I guess it's kind of a modified hedge system. These are 3 lines of wire that we have running on both sides, so almost like a basket, and it's helping to keep that plant up. You don't want blackberry fruit being developed and grown on the ground. That's going to be poor quality, not marketable fruit. So we want to keep our fruit up off the ground so that it can develop properly. For pruning these guys this time of year, we're coming in and being anywhere from, say, 12 to 18 inches off of the primary cane. This is going to be the best fruit production. The further removed out you get from that primary cane, the lower, poorer fruit production and quality that you get. So nice quality fruit. Same thing with like muscadines. You want to be in close to your main cane. So I keep referring to canes. Blackberries are grow cane type, bush type, semi-erect, sometimes vining growth depending on the variety. They are biennials, which means they complete their life cycle in 2 years. Perennials would be multiple years, annuals would be 1 year, biennials would be 2 years. So this cane that's here right now came up for the first time last year. Last year we would have referred to this cane as a prima cane. Comes up and only produces vegetative growth. So leaves would have been the only thing that this cane would have had on it last year. Once it finishes its first year and moves into the second year, we then refer to it as a floricane, because this year when we start spring growth, this plant will actually open up and bloom. You can see flower buds here along the stem of it. So this will be where our fruit production is this year. So first year vegetative only, second year of its life it then can fruit. And then once it fruits, it actually dies back and that cane would be removed. So in the spring, we'll have new prima canes that begin to come up from the ground. A lot of times we'll use pruners and keep those suppressed until maybe mid-June or so, and that's gonna, by keeping them suppressed, we can keep good airflow and sunlight penetration in this plant. That's gonna help us reduce disease and pest problems, and then also gonna help with higher quality fruit production just because of that sunlight penetration and airflow. So, but then by mid-June, we'll stop suppressing those prima canes, so they'll begin to grow up, and then around the 4th of July, when we finish harvesting our blackberries, we'll cut the floricanes. As they are dying back, we'll cut them out, remove them, and then we'll begin the whole process over again of training and preparing our prima canes to become floricanes the next season. So the first year that you plant blackberries, you don't get a crop, but then beginning that next year, you would end up starting to get a crop. And of course, it's not going to be as large the second year as those plants are still beginning to establish and root in, and then you would get into full production. And like I said, you're alternating every other year off of a different cane, but you've got fruit production every year. We'll come in here, we're going to finish pruning here. Let's see, we're about halfway through with this field, so probably by Christmas we will have this project finished. We'll clean out our prunings, take those to the compost pile. We'll come in and weed these rows, and then we're actually going to put down a new layer of mulch. The mulch is going to help keeps the soil moisture more consistent. We lose less water to evaporation. It also helps with weed control simply by shading and covering that ground. And then as that mulch breaks down, it's organic material that the nutrients are released into the soil and available for the roots of this plant. So you got lots of benefits from a mulch like pine bark that we use. We usually use kind of the finer size nuggets and find that they do a really good job here. So that's what's going on today in the blackberries, and just wanted to let you guys see this. Once we have finished this project, the blackberries will be pretty well squared away, and we really won't worry too much with them until we begin blooming in the spring. Biggest concern there is if they bloom out early, the potential of freeze, and that we may have to do some cold protection. We've really never had an issue with the blackberries. They almost, I should not even be saying this, but I'll knock on a blackberry. They tend to bloom out late enough that, unlike the blueberries, which I feel like we're fighting freeze injury every year in, the blackberries, that has not yet been the case. So we'll see, fingers crossed, that 2020 we'll move into spring bloom and no more freezes after that for any of our crops. But hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday, and we'll keep you posted on the blackberries.